Okay, let's talk about making your own folder and file system. So there's more information here if you're looking for it. There'll actually be a lot of detail in this blog post, so if you are going to make your own folder and file system, you should refer to this. There's, again, a lot of tips that can be really helpful. Especially if you're going to make a long-term one for your company or yourself, it's good to take your time and do it right. You should think about your folder and file system as you are the librarian and this is your library. You want things organized and neat and named properly and findable. And so to find things, obviously there are two ways to do it. One is searching, which is a really cool, easy way to do it, and one is navigation. So let's look at an example of a folder system that you can navigate. So it's a template, it's an example. Obviously this is for my template. You may have different names and you may have different reasons to do it in other ways, but you can see some things that you should probably keep consistent. I number a lot of folders in the hierarchy, then I'll letter them. You could use capital letters, you could use only numbers. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that every level of the hierarchy has numbers or letters in them. It's a really easy way to remember where you are when you're navigating. You'll see them up here in the breadcrumbs, and you can tell people, hey, check folder 1.2.f. So it does help you to navigate and keep track of things. It can also make it more sortable if you want the 0, 1 to rise to the top. When you're sorting by name, you can sort by other things also. But when you're sorting by name, it's nice to be able to really quickly get the ones you use the most to top. So you can number those 0, 1 or letter A and so on. When you're doing it, as I mentioned, you want these hierarchies. So you start with one level and you go deeper and deeper as you go. You see the breadcrumbs here. You want clear, detailed folder names, and you want to make sure everything ends up in the right place. If you want things to be able to be found when you're navigating, you've got to put it in the right place. So take the time to do it. You'll be glad you did. You'll find things faster. You'll also find things, right? In some cases, you'll never find things again. You'll search your email. You'll search everywhere. You won't find it. So you do really want to make it so that you can find it. You can do this here in the browser, as you can see as I'm doing. You can also do it in Google, in the Finder also, which we talked about, that you can have your folder system right here and you can do the same thing. So it's the same folder system in both places, right? We talked about this actually with Google Drive and Google Backup and Sync. You can download software that lets you have the same folder system locally. So the way you search here and navigate here, you can search here and you can navigate here. Something to keep in mind as you do build out your system and just find the best ways to work for yourself and your team. Obviously with navigation, there's also search. Search is often a much easier way to find things. So you really want to make sure that you were searching for, you were naming files for searchability. So when you're in the system, you can type up here the name of the file, or you can type words that are in the file. Google, not surprisingly, is good at indexing your file and making them searchable, but you do want to make sure that there are words in the title of the file and the body of the file that make them come up. So you can obviously just free text search up here. You can type whatever you want to type. You can also, though, use this advanced search feature. And it's a nice, easy way to search quickly. It's actually just, you'll see here, it just populates the search bar with their search language. But the cool thing is that it's an easy way to do it. And you can learn the search language later, but if you want to, you can then search for, right, things like this, and things will come up. So, not so surprising. And then, so you want to search. You can also then use the navigation bar. So if you do put a word in the title, so search will find things no matter where the word is. It can be in the title, it can be anywhere. But in the navigation bar, and right here in your browser bar, you can open a new bar and start typing name of title or name of the file. And you'll see if the words are exact matches in the name of the file, it will come up here. So you see right here, I was looking for this file. It's Introduction to Startup Operations and Technology. If I start typing that here in the bar, it will bring it up right here. There's no faster way to open files. If it's already open, it will have this button here so you can switch to the tab. It would just switch to there. If you wanted to open it, though, you could just click on it too. So that's why the right name of the file is also really important. It's also why often when I name files, I name them with things like this. So it has the word profit in it, the word budget, the word reporting, business line, financials. So I can just start typing in here that exact term, right? I can start typing 2021 budget financials, and that will come up. And so whether I type profit and loss or P&L, that will come up. Whether it's in the browser bar or in the search bar in here, that will come up. So think about that when you're naming files. You really want it to be searchable. It will save you time. You're going to be happy later if you do it right in the first place. We talked about browser and advanced search. You can also, as I said, do it through Finder. if you do install either Drive or Backup and Sync. Drive doesn't always work with local search, so Backup and Sync is actually what you want to install if you do want to use Finder and local search and use files locally. So let's look at permissions. So after you do create your folder system, you may want to give only certain people access to only certain folders. So you can click on them, you can two-finger click on them and see share. You can see two-finger click up here and see share. You can click here and see sharing. Lots of ways to see sharing. Once you do get there, you can share with people individually. So you can put in their name and you can share that way. You can then make them just a viewer, which means they can't have any effect on the file, they can't edit, they can't comment. You can make them a commenter, which means they can comment in the file, but they can't edit. Or you can give them more rights and make them an editor. You can actually transfer ownership if you're within an organization. That option is not here because I'm not in an organization account right now, but you can transfer ownership too in some cases. And yeah, you can make it public on the internet also. So there's lots of different permission levels. It can be public, it can be for a company, it can be for a Google group, it can be for individuals, and then you can do it at different folder levels. You can give someone access to everything in here, or you can give them just access to one of these folders. So it's a nice way for organizations to have permissioning for access to content. So now when you're ready, you can go to your Google Drive. So here's a link to my drive. You can either click on the link, that will just take you to this URL. Depending on where you are, you can also just go to Drive in here. It'll all take you to the same place. But then when you're ready, you can do New Folder. You can also hold Shift F to make a new folder. And then you can name it My New Folder. I'll put a 00 there so it rises to the top. There it is right there. So why don't you take the time to go do that now, and we'll fill this up with the course information as you go. And you should put in your notes. You can put in other files that we have to use for sheets or docs or whatever, but this can be the folder that you use. So you can call it whatever you want. You can call it, let's say, if I two-finger click, I can do rename. You can say My Folder for Intro to Ops and Tech, Jared, or whatever else you want to call it, whatever makes sense for you. And that's it. Thanks.